Hey YouTube, what's going on? You are tuned into the Straight SRT8 YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you all about the IAT sensor in our Jeeps. So right now it's 81 degrees out, middle of the day, driving around in Rochester, New York, and my coolant's staying at 185. I had the 180 T-stat, and I had the fan set to turn on around 185 degrees, and that's what it's doing right now. It's at 185, 187. So that's working out pretty well. However, my next main concern is that intake air temperature sensor. As I mentioned in my previous videos, that's really in a not very opportune area. It's getting a whole lot of heat soaking going on, and it's really starting to mess with my temperatures. So I mean, right now I'm at 110 degrees for my IAT. It's 83 degrees outside, and I'm at 110 degrees for my IAT. That is it's astronomical. There's no way that's correct. Obviously, heat soaking is playing a very large role in that very high rating. I have been talking to a few tuners, and I've gotten some quotes to do a professional tune on the Jeep. So I want to do this IAT relocation first before I pay for a tune, and then get it all dialed in and see how much of a difference there is between the stock Diablo Sport 91 octane tune versus a custom and professional tune with the relocated IAT sensor. Alright, so here is our stock location for the IAT sensor. Comes out pretty easily. Just pinch this guy right here, pull up, pops right out, and then right here you pull this straight out. No twisting, no nothing. And there you go. That little blue tip right there, that is your actual temperature probe. The rest of it is just a housing. We're going to move that from our stock location. And I was thinking about where I'm going to put it. And anywhere away from here, further back is obviously better. We want to make sure that's in the path of the airflow. So you do something crazy and put it like way over here on the side, you're not going to get much airflow. The air is really going to come right from here and go, of course, down this tube. Thinking about putting it right here, actually. A lot of guys put it right here. I think I'm more comfortable having it be right here instead, though. It's a little bit of a curvature to it, but right here it's pretty flat and straight. And there is also a little gasket right here on this guy. So if I drill the hole really small, but slide this all the way through, it'll lock on right there. It rests against this lip and be right inside there. Then put it right about there, which is right where you want it, right in the midpoint of that pipe. So I'm going to go ahead and use a step drill kit. A bunch of different sizes here. So I'm going to go ahead and drill that hole right there. Mount this IAT sensor, and then of course use this extension harness. This harness is from Michigan Motorsports. I bought this online on Amazon. I'll drop a link in the description. I got a punch here to make sure that the drill bit doesn't lock on me. Of course, different accessories. So yeah, let's go ahead and get it done. Alright, so we're going to start by loosening some of these hose clamps right here. Remove this vacuum line. I'm actually going to take the whole thing out. That way I can drill at a proper angle right here and get it straight and flush. This is pretty simple. You can grab either a socket or a flathead. I'm using just a flathead. Let's loosen it up a little bit, nothing crazy. We're going to loosen this guy up too. It's in the back corner, and you can't really see. And go ahead and pull that vacuum line off. In order to remove the air filter, there are two metal clips. We're going to push down. Here, pop, pop. Pull this guy up. That comes right off, pretty easy. I'm actually going to leave this guy attached. I thought it was going to be harder to take it off than it is. But, actually, yeah, leave that right there. Like that. Alright, now if you remember how it goes on the car, the hose goes in obviously right here. We're going to put it right about here, right on this factory mold line. Put it right in there. Alright, so now I'm going to find that factory mold line. Again, it's right here. And put it right about here. Go ahead and use my punch. Make a nice mark. So before I drill the hole, I just want to see how far this IAT is going to go into it. So again, we're going to sit flush right against here. So put it in like that and just hold it there. That's where it's going to sit, right in the middle. maybe a little bit out further. Maybe if I go down this flange instead, I'll sit right there, which is right smack dab in the middle of this thing. It'd be perfect. Alright, so for this, this is obviously the factory intake cover, so you don't want to drill too fast and drill too big of a hole through it. So we're going to start nice and slow, line it up to the punch, and then keep test fitting the IAT sensor before we get too big of a hole. Alright guys, so I pulled out the IAT sensor, you can see it right here. And I drilled a hole inside this air intake box, right where we talked about. And when you place this sensor right in there, I also removed the, there's a little O-ring or gasket, whatever you want to call it. It's right here. Took it off and put it right here so I can slide it in and out pretty easily. But whenever when you line this guy right here and push this through, you want to make sure this blue sensor right here is in the path of the air, and that the top and bottom part are on the top and bottom. You don't want to have it blocking it, because then the air is going to come in and it's going to hit this plastic housing versus hitting the sensor itself. So you get it aligned, and you kind of fade it through here, and the whole opening is just wide enough to fit this part. However, once it's in there, it can twist a little bit, and there's a little bit of movement there, not much. It's a pretty tight fit, but I don't really like that. So I was trying to think of ways that we can make this a better fitting, more airtight, and so that this part won't rotate. And I started thinking about using firewall gaskets. So this piece right here, it's part of a kit I bought off Amazon. And so I'm going to grommets. And the size I'm using is an EWG 36. And as you can see right here, if I place this over top of this guy, it's a really snug fit. I won't put it on all the way, but I'll get you an idea. It's a really tight fit, and it's not going anywhere, which is just what I wanted to do. It's work out very well, and it's going to hold it in place because we have this little lip. It's going to get caught on the actual air housing itself. And we're going to make sure that it won't twist in place and it'll kind of stay locked in. And another good feature is that you can use your existing gasket, put it right here over top of this, and it's going to prevent this other one from falling off it and keeping it in place. So put this guy on there like this. And right now you can see that that's a pretty tight fit. This new grommet can't go back any further because there's a lip right here on this locating feature. So if I make it flush, it can't go back, can't go forward, and it's a really tight fit on this guy. Now what I'm going to do is increase the hole that I drew, or that I made on this. And we're going to have this new grommet fit right inside there, and just be lined up perfectly inside this housing. So I'm going to go get that shot. Alright guys, so I had to bore the hole a little bit bigger, but now it's on there very well. As you can see, we have seating all the way around this gasket. Covers the whole outer lip. This guy doesn't want to move, which is really good. And then right here, you see, of course, seating again. The other lip covers it. And then right here is the gasket I was telling you about that comes on it. Put that over top to kind of lock the other grommet in place. Now, this, it wiggles, but really not much. This isn't going to twist. I can barely twist with my hands. So the sensor right now, it's smack dab in the middle of the entire pipe. Your IAT isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to move on you. It's not going to be loosened up. Won't twist, won't turn. So this is really a pretty good spot for it. Worst comes to worst, you got to replace your sensor. You pop it out, pop in a new one. Nothing crazy going on there. Because this grommet basically just stays in place and holds everything for you. Makes it nice and secure. Alright, so now this guy's in there nice and snug. Right in the middle of the hole, which is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and align it inside the tube. We're going to push in this bottom portion of the intake housing. Make sure it latches into two latches right here. Go ahead and clear the front. Push the metal tabs out the way. Get it in there. Push them up. Lock them. It's nice and locked. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten down this tube. Make sure that right here, these two rubber pieces fit right around the top center of this throttle body here. Angle down a little better for you. So right there, make sure that's lined up. Go ahead, you can grab your either flathead or your socket and go ahead and put a nice torque on this guy to make sure that you keep it airtight. And do the same to the portion that's attached to your air intake housing. Keep in mind that this is metal, this is plastic, so you don't want to torque it too hard. Alright, double check it. Good. Alright. Next thing, you're going to want to plug this hole. So I went on Amazon and I bought a bunch of different plugs. These are obviously oversized. Here's one. Here's another. These two guys are probably going to fit pretty well. So I just test fit in there. That's a little bit too big. And that one's perfect. Goes right inside that hole and plugs up nice and good. Again, I'll probably use a little bit of sealant to make sure that it fills in all those extra holes and keeps it airtight. But that's good to go. Next thing you want to do is install your relocation harness. Again, this is from Michigan Motorsports. Attach your one end to your sensor. It's going to be the white end for this kit. Push that right in there. Hear that pop, locks right in there. Your other end is going to get attached to your IAT sensor, which is down here. Nice pop. And there we go. Now this, you want to clean up a little bit. I'll probably unhook it, bring it down through here, and maybe use some zip ties to kind of hide the wire and make it look more factory. But that's about it, guys. That's your IAT sensor relocation. I'm about to take another drive and just test fit it and see how much lower my IAT temperatures are. So as I'm cleaning up, I realized I forgot one step. Make sure you reattach this vacuum hose. Alright, guys. Alright, so I finished installing the IAT sensor in that new location. That relocation a little bit further away from the engine bay, a little bit closer to the air intake itself. And I've been driving around for about a few minutes now, just monitoring the IAT temperatures. And what I noticed right off the bat is that when a car is sitting still in traffic, I'm at a red light, I'm not going anywhere, it does creep up to the same temperature as it was before. You know, and again, not surprised at all. Under the engine bay, it's going to get really hot because the Hemi engines like to run warm, even at 185 degrees, like mine's at right now. The engine intake air temperature still gets pretty high, so I'm seeing about 105, 106 degrees when I'm just sitting still. Right now it's 88 degrees out, so it's, you know, it's almost 20 degrees warmer than the ambient air. And again, that's a ton of heat soaking. The engine's producing 185 degrees, and it's getting absorbed by that all the components inside the engine bay, especially that rubber housing. Now, rubber being much better at dissipating heat than metal. Metal actually absorb it, and you get a lot more effects from heat soaking versus having that rubber factory connection, which is why I want to keep it rubber and not make it metal. Anyway, once I start driving around, though, it drops back down pretty fast, and that was the key ingredient here, is when you're getting ready to race your vehicle, you're going to be in your lines waiting to go in your different areas for the drag race. And as you pull up, you're sitting and waiting. The next car goes, you pull up a little bit, you sit, you wait. And you know, a lot of guys try and get around that by either turning their car off, popping the hood open, letting it vent, or they'll put actual ice on the engine to keep everything nice and cold. That way it's ready to go for its drag race. Obviously, doing what I did is going to help also with those temperatures. Like right now, my IAT is at 95 degrees and it's 88 degrees out, so it's only 7 degrees warmer than ambient. That's a lot cooler than it was before. Now I keep saying that you're not adding any more horsepower to the car by doing this relocation, because under wide open throttle, the vehicle receives the same temperature as it does no matter where your sensor is located. You're pulling in so much air and such a high volume of air that it's going to pull in true ambient temperatures. It's going to correct itself. The difference being that now it's going to have the correct temperatures up front versus changing it on the fly while you're doing your drag race. Now it's going to be ready to go from the start, running cooler temperatures off the bat. It's going to be more tuned in, and as soon as you open up that throttle, you're not going to see much of a change in your air temperature, which means the car can be consistent and it's going to pull all the way through versus trying to change on the fly. Alright guys, so if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and that way you get all my latest updates and my videos as they get released. Like I mentioned before, I have a ton more content on the way, and I'm excited to make some videos for you guys.